Okay, so last time we were doing a basic rough cut. We got our movies hopefully all lined up, perfect order, perfect time, no action calls, no cut calls. When you guys come in today, you open Premiere, your project will probably be the most recent thing in recent projects, so you just click the blue link there. You could hit open project and go to the video, period 6, chase folder and grab it that way, but if it's right there, why do the extra work, right? So we'll open our project up, and here's our little project, right, with our little guy running through the school. You know, we did a couple shots, and at the end,
finally found you.
Right.
I have a beautiful present.
I need to make that a little longer for you. Oh, gotta get rid of the crop. All right, let's see, that should be perfect.
Beautiful present for you.
All right, good. So we need to add the little extra bits and pieces. So what I'm going to show you guys today is going to show you how to add music or sound effects. After that, we'll do titles and credits, and then last we'll do transitions. So the first thing we're going to do is music or sound effects. The two are basically the same. Okay. The first thing you need to do with music or sound effects is basically you're going to treat it the same as footage. So what I mean by that is, when we're done shooting at the end of a production day, what do? We bring the card in, we plug it in the computer, copy all the files, paste them in our period 6 folder. We're going to do the exact same thing with music, right? Instead of a little memory card from a camera, we use our thumb drive. So this basically becomes the same as a card. So we plug this into the computer. You're going to get a window that looks something similar, right? The same window we get when we plug the card in. Same steps. Open the folder to view files. Find the files you want. I know my music tracks down here I want these 4 tracks. I'm going to copy those. I'm going to go video, period 6, the chase, paste. Okay, now they're in there. I can remove the card and take these 4 files and drop them into my project. And now I've got my music files, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, so that's the same thing you need to do every time. You can't just pull them off the thumb drive into Premiere, because then as soon as the thumb drive leaves, the songs leave too. So you need to make sure you make a copy of them in your period 6 folder. Now I can just drag them and drop them over here into my little preview window, and you get kind of a visual representation of the songs. So this track here, I can see that it's going to start out kind of quiet, right? The little small spikies mean quiet, and then here is going to be a much fuller, louder part of the track, right? This track here is pretty consistent in volume all the way throughout, right? Smooth. And then this one here has big variations, right? We start off pretty loud, then it's going to drop down for a long while doing, right, real quiet, until finally you get the big hit at the end. So you can set ins and outs in this just like with your pictures. So what I want is I want my movie to start off with the quiet and then jump to the loud part. So I'm going to set an in right there. And what you're going to do is unfortunately you can't grab right here like you go with the picture. They force you to grab the little spiky icon right here, right? It's a little icon of these spiky waveforms, right? So these little, if you hover over it, says drag audio only. So I'm going to click that, I'm going to drag it, pull that down to audio level 2, right? On my video, audio is on level 1, and my music will be on level 2. I hit the little triangle, and I can see the spiky waveforms, right? It's going to be quiet. You know what? I want it to be quiet a little bit longer. We're going to start off like this. Man, it's pretty quiet. Let's see. It's going to jump in here in a second. So he's off. Alright, so we got a couple things we need to mess with here. Right? In the beginning, the sound of the wind and the paper is louder than the quiet part of the song. So what I need to do is I need to quiet this portion down. And you know what? I don't even want the natural sounds to play. So what we're going to use to affect the volume of any clip is its audio gain. Audio gain. And you get to audio gain by right-clicking on the clip you want to affect. So since I want to mess with this first clip, I'm going to right-click on it and hit audio gain. And this is asking me how much, what do I want to make this volume of this clip? 0 is just the normal, what it was recorded at. If I go to a positive value, it's going to boost the volume. If I go to a negative value, it's going to decrease the volume. So I want it to be completely silent. So I'm going to go negative 99. That's as far down as you can go. Right? And now what we hear is just that quiet part of the music. Right? No more noise, no more wind, no more scripts fluttering in the background. Right? You can hear how loud just the wind and the air is. Right? So I could go through and I could audio gain negative 99 each of these clips. Right? That's going to take me a little bit of time to go through and get all these clips to negative 99. Right? What if I have 100 of them? Oh, that's not good. So you can do it that way. I'm not going to fault you for it. But an easier way to mute the volume of clips, in fact, I want all 4 of these to be muted, is I'm just going to click on them and highlight them, right? Drag a box so I grab just the 4. I want to leave the last one alone. I'm going to drag that down to layer 3. And I'm going to turn off layer 3 with the little speaker icon. See, toggle track output? I don't want that track to output. So now everything that you put on layer 3 will not play. And only things on layer 1 and 2 will play. And I didn't have to go through and set individual tracks. All right, that takes too much time to do negative 99 over and over and over again. So now I have just music, I have no natural sound. And if I want to bring it back, right, you know what, I do want the sound for this one. All I have to do is drag it back up here to 1, and now it'll play again. You can hear the kids at the pool, you can hear the wind a little bit in his footsteps. Okay, now for this last one here. He's too quiet. Our actor is talking. Right? Actors have to be loud, right? Actors have to be heard by microphones or heard on stage. So we're going to have to bring this guy's volume up. So we'll audio gain. We will boost him up. I like to work like in 5, 10 decibel increments. So we'll go up to like 10. You never want to go too hard at first. Let's go to like 10. Look, his spikes are a lot bigger now. That looks pretty good.
Finally found a beautiful present for you.
Alright? He's louder, but now him and the music are loud and they're kind of competing. Right? It's called background music for a reason. It should be in the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my razor blade tool, chop this music, right, in half. That way this half can stay loud and I can quiet down this half. I'm going to drop this one negative 10. So he went up plus 10. This one's going to go down negative 10. And then we're going to have something like this.
I finally found you. I have a beautiful present for you.
Alright, that works much better. I can understand him. He's not competing with the music. Right, it works a lot better. Alright, so use as many songs as you want. With the chase, you probably don't even want to use one song for the whole movie, right? You might want one song for the first 5 shots, and then once that conflict arises, maybe go to something more suspenseful, maybe the ending, you need a new track, right? So don't just drop one track on and be finished with it. We're going to think about how music's going to affect the mood. Right? The same thing goes for sound effects. You could drag them into your little preview window, set ins and outs, and drag them down using the little spiky spikes. I like to usually have track 1 be my camera sounds, track 2 be music, track 3 be muted sounds, and you can add up to 99 tracks. So I could right click on audio, hit add track, and I could add 3 more audio tracks or 33, no that's too many, there's 3. And have a track for sound effects or have a track for a second bit of music, right? So I like to have a track 4 for sound effects. 5 and 6, I usually don't get that much. Hollywood timelines end up with like 30, 40 tracks, but we're not that hardcore yet. Okay, so music, again, transfer the same as footage. Use audio gain or the track layers to adjust your volume or mute things. The mistake that most people make here goes like this. Let's put all these back where they were. Right? And let's delete our music. So we'll go back to step 1. And they get their music and they pull it down and they put it right here on track 1. Kaboom. Now what's happened is I've told Premiere I don't want those sounds that were on track 1. I only want the music. So now His voice, everything is gone. All I have is music. No more camera sounds. Camera sounds have been deleted. And then people go, oh man, my camera sounds. I'll move this down to track 2. Okay? Camera sounds aren't coming back. You already told people you want is gone. So this is a situation where you want to Control Z, undo, right? Don't repair the car, just never get in the accident, right? And then do it the correct way and pull it down to track 2. Okay? Second piece we're working on, titles. Okay. Titles you create by making file new title, or easier still is Control T, which is pretty easy to remember. Control T for title, right? For text. Control and T at the same time will open it up. This little window here is not super duper important. It's asking you what name do you want it to have in the library, which your audience will never see. So unless you're super duper anal, or like if you're doing lower thirds, it's nice to name it, you know, Jenny or whatever. But for now, we'll just call it Title 1. You could call it title or end credits, whatever. You hit OK to that, and what will open will be your title designer window that looks like this. And basically, it starts off with the type tool. Let's click in here, type some text. That font is really ugly. Let's get a better font. So our font choices, there's like hundreds and hundreds of fonts, right? We want to make sure we choose one that's pretty legible and readable, right? And you can always blow it up. That's a little too scripty for television. There we go, that looks pretty good. And all these options, I mean, you can get really in depth. You can change the space between individual letters. You can slant the letters. You can come down a little further. You've got your fill, so you can change the colors. Got all the colors of the rainbow. You can even make it a gradient, so it goes from like, you know, black to purple, or you change the two colors that it fades between, black to, you know, pink or whatever. There we go. Further down, you've got your drop shadows, which we learned about how important those are. We definitely want to use a drop shadow. You can adjust the distance of the drop shadow. You can adjust how dark the drop shadow is. So all those things, right? Spend a little bit of time making sure your text looks really beautiful. An outline they call a stroke, so I can add an outer stroke. Choose the color, the stroke. Let's make it like lime green. There we go. Actually, let's back that. There we go. That's kind of a cool title. Now let's make it say Chase. There we go. So that'd be our title of our movie. One thing that the guy in the video talked about was using colors that are in the NTSC safe range. And Premiere will actually warn you if your color is not safe. Like if I go all the way, like full red, like all the way to the corner, all the way to the bottom, see it's 255 parts red, 0 parts green, 0 parts blue, it puts up a little warning, this is not broadcast safe. All you have to do is push this back just the tiniest bit. Look, 252 parts red, 4 parts green, 4 parts blue. No one can tell that's not red, but it keeps the televisions happy. Right, same thing. He said beware of Pepto Pink, right? If you go all the way down to the bottom, not gonna work. Lime green, not gonna work. Back your colors off just the tiniest bit. It still looks really, really lime green, but it's gonna keep televisions that much happier with you. You can, sometimes if you open your title maker, you might see an image in the background. It's probably showing you just whatever's in your program window. It's not permanent. You can use that, like some groups were doing ones where they wanted the text to like be off to the side of a guy pointing, right? So you have to know where he's pointing so you can adjust and move the text, or if it's on the bottom of a shoe, you can turn that off with a little eyeball here and just work with a blank background. And like I said, it's not even permanent, so once I'm done building the title the way I like it, I just exit out. It permanently saves it. It's right here in my library. There's the title. And I drag that. And title's default length is 5 seconds. So when you pull it down, it's going to be 5 seconds. But since it's a title, you can adjust that length however you want. Maybe if Premiere catches up with us. There we go. Right? I can make it as long. Ooh, something's tripping. Make it as long or as short as I want. Okay? So because my title's on track 2, you see it in addition to the footage. If I put it on track 1, it's going to be just over black. Again, the mistake people make here is they bring this title down and they put it on track 1, and that deletes the footage that was there, right? It's gone. And now if I remove this, it doesn't come back. Okay? you need to Control Z, undo your mistake so that that footage stays there. So I can put my title at the beginning, make it as long as the first shot. There we go. Right, and then my audio is real quiet here. Computer's starting to not be happy. There we go. And then if you want to do, let's do credits now. So Control T for another title window. Let's see here, let's get some names going here. Let's choose just a real basic little font. So Jim and let's try again here. Man, it's still, this computer's been not happy. I think I need to restart it. There we go. Jim and blah blah, and all these different people, right? They're all my actors. You just keep pushing enter, make a big long list. This button here for roll crawl options, it's got an arrow pointing up and an arrow pointing down, kind of like credits. I just changed it to roll, and I check the boxes, and now my title will slide through, so I'll pull that at the end. You can make it as long or as short as you want. And then if I make it longer, it'll scroll more slowly. If I make it really, really short, they'll fly by. Alright, so mess with your titles, okay? Control T. If you want them to roll, it's roll crawl options. And make sure you check those boxes for start and end off screen, otherwise it looks really bad. I'll show you. Right, if I go back, oh, if you want to change the title after the fact, just double click it in the library, opens it back up. Right, let's take off those checkboxes. And let's look at this credits now. It's going to look super terrible. Right, they start like halfway up the screen and they end without leaving the screen. So you always want to make sure you check your start off screen, end off screen boxes. It makes them look more like real movie titles. Okay, slow those down a step. Okay, so that's titles. And the last bit that we need to work on is transitions. That lives over here in this box that we talked about the other day, the effects box. So you see there's a folder called Video Transitions down there at the bottom. I'm going to hit the little triangle next to it to open the folder up, because that's in Premiere. Anytime you see that little triangle, if you click it, it'll expand things, right? If you do it with audio, it lets you see the waveforms of the audio on the timeline, which is really nice. So open up Video Transitions. Inside that are even more folders with types of transitions. You've got dissolves, irises, page peels, stretches, wipes, zooms. So let's open up the wipes. Now here are the actual transitions. Barn doors, checker wipe, checkerboard, clock wipe, all these different kinds. I'm going to take a clock wipe. I'm going to click, hold it, drag it, and you see when I bring that transition to where two shots touch, it kind of highlights the two shots where they touch. If I put it in the middle of a shot, nothing's happening. I have to go to where two shots touch. If I drop it, like right there, when this shot ends and goes to the next shot, it's going to have the clock wipe. Okay, so a silly little transition. If I don't like it, I can just click the purple and delete it, and it goes back to just being a straight up hard cut. All right, let's grab a different one. Let's grab random blocks here. There we go. That one's pretty cool. Keep that one. I can make the transition longer or shorter by grabbing the edges of it with the red brackets. I think the default length is 1 second, so now this transition will take longer because I made it bigger. Right? Or conversely, I can make it really, really tiny and only take, like a third of a second. Right? Really, really fast. And most of the transitions in here are kind of like home movies 1990 status. The four big ones that you'll actually see in Hollywood are pretty much in the dissolve category. You've got cross dissolve, right, where one shot just kind of bleeds into the next. You've got dip to black, right, where the footage gets darker, 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 darker until at one point, the exact middle, the screen is pure black, and then the next shot will begin to fade in. And then you've got its close brother, dip to white, which does the same thing, just it goes up to white instead of down to black in brightness value. Right. And then the other one, you might see in Hollywood a wipe, just a standard wipe in the wipe folder, right, where the footage just kind of slides across the edge like that, right? Star Wars does a lot of that. Those action adventure movies do a lot of that. Okay, so what we want to do today in the little over an hour we have is to, hopefully our rough cuts are done, and we want to work on these three things. We want to get music and sound effects that we brought in, get those on the timeline, build our titles, our title and our credits, and then maybe we want to add some transitions into our film. If you have any other questions, like some people want to do like slow motion, and there's another couple of things we can do. And if you have a question, if we can do something, ask me and I'll let you know yes it's possible or no it's not possible. There's also a sound effect library on the computer that's a little easier for me to show you one-on-one. So if you find that, oh, we can't find the sound effect online or we need a sound effect, we can look and see if the sound effect library has it, but it's got like a couple thousand sounds, but not everything you could ever need. Like it doesn't have a record scratch. Everyone says, does it have a record scratch? Right, that, but it doesn't. So ask me questions, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate editors every 15 minutes or so to make sure that everyone gets their reps, right? You don't get stronger by watching someone else lift weights. So we need to make sure that you are on the computer getting better at this because you are the one clicking the buttons and having your hand on the mouse and keyboard. So we'll rotate editors every 15 minutes. And hopefully by the end of the day, our chase videos will be in their final form. And then we'll be able to export that next class and watch them as a group. All right, so ask me questions. Let's hop on our machines and get going.